This is about managing your brain. I expect this to be a lot more popular than the other videos because the brain seems to be a real keyword for the world at present, markets at present. This is about managing your brain on 8 dimensions. And the first dimension is social neuroscience. This is Kahneman's Fast to Slow Brain book that was a popular, but really that's just using language that was done by Goleman earlier in his social neuroscience books, one of which was emotional intelligence, the other was social intelligence. But both of them were about social neuroscience journals and journal results. Basically, brain study with fMRI machines has found that there's a fast emotional brain which sets the context of what you notice, what you care about, and what you do. And then the world comes pre-packaged to your conscious mind, conceptual, slower mind, um, and and therefore you never bother noticing, or that what you're noticing has already been noticed for you by this faster emotional unconscious brain. So you are not nearly as much in control of what's world for you, what you notice, as you think you are. And so I've got a model of the 36 key dynamics and the 216 key dynamics in social and emotional intelligence work from fMRI on those monkey social neuroscience modules in our brains for copying what other monkeys do, guessing intentions and feelings of other monkeys from what we observe them doing. Language is a way for each monkey to coordinate its actions. And the slow conceptual brain is an editor of what the fast emotional brain is proposing to do or has already started doing. Number 2 is TVERSKY and Kahneman's original work, Undermining Economics, where they prove that in 11 ways rational utility assumptions of economics about human minds are completely wrong. Humans are unable to notice and pursue their own self-interest in 11 ways. And therefore economics has to be completely wrong. Its uttermost foundations are as wrong as possible in 11 ways. Since then, other related research has found 180 such flaws in how brains work in about 20 different types. And you can actually study these and counteract these in your own life to improve how you think. Error science is a new sort of correlate to quality science. It started about 30 years ago. Very, very few people, about 6 around the world, studying error and what causes error. And it's not what you think. For example, in system science, the 2 biggest sources of error in managing and creating giant systems and products that are giant systems are dun, 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 little changes of notation, a wrong number, a wrong decimal point, a wrong units assigned that cause disasters. A lack of utter accuracy and precision. And therefore, the only people that can avoid disasters have to be extraordinarily Asian and precise and petty about detail and thorough about detail. And what kind of cultures do that and don't do that? American culture would be the exact opposite. Guaranteed to produce lots of disasters because no one cares about detail and works the details. Number 4 would be system science and complexity theory. System science is the old stuff from J. Forrester work and the Burton Lafferty work, and that didn't meet its own goals for a good reason, and it created lots of really sloppy models of 100 variables in them that didn't correlate with anything. And then Santa Fe Institute came along in the 1980s and 90s and much more professionally dealt with the same questions with much more accurate mathematical models and came up with a lot of consistent results about how immune systems and traffic flows are identical and have identical laws and why. And did a lot of work, interesting work by Kaufman on the origin of life itself and genetic algorithms in biology and on machines and in societies. But that's, again, how the mind works when it's in large populations of similarly limited minds. If you're in a population with 1 million minds all having the same 180 flaws with them, here's what happens. Here are the phenomena that emerge from those. Then there's quality science. And this is really 2 things. It's sort of the Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance by PIRSIG on that strange book about how tuning your mind to sanity is like tuning a motorcycle engine to good performance in terms of gas and air and compression. And it's very hard to get that tuning point very accurate. It's very hard to do that with minds too. And he related that to quality. and by which she meant the essence of what an entity is when it's performing well and to its own satisfaction. And the Japanese took some of that Plato, the good, and essence type European quality idea and turned it into practices, saying that if you did to that kind of quality systems that were applied to doing finance well everywhere, that you would get something interesting. And they did. They got something so powerful it wiped out 11 industries all over the world and made Japan dominant in those industries. So quality science, in terms of a new theory of what the essence of business is, a horizontal essence rather than a monkey hierarchy essence, a serving rather than a rank establishment essence, a following and tracking, and then a going beyond and leaping with delight quality. And then there's attention science. Attention science is the idea that being visible and having a presence and a self in our world can be done on many different media, so you can be a self face-to-face, but not a self at the area size scale of your own state or prefecture, and certainly not nationally. You can be a person face-to-face, but not be a person in the web universe, or not be a person in video, or not be a person in print publishing. And so your ability to exist and be a presence in different media is your actual self-profile in the world. And too many of us default to whatever we were born comfortable handling. And we just don't exist for most of the media that exists. We are simply not a self at all. And that's attention science. And it's so important because everything in these complicated societies competes for attention. And getting it is very, very valuable. And you'll see that Facebook got attention of a certain sort, the very little tiny sort of clicks in the web, and it's not going to be able to hold that attention at all. It's just going to all evaporate. And I'm afraid a little lifeline thing of old photos of dinners of your friends is just not going to last to 2015 or 16. It's going to be dead everywhere. So they fail to understand attention science, and it's not a surprise that management of Facebook has never studied attention science, has no idea what it is, and it's clear from the design of their product they don't have a clue. Biosense replacing mechanical sense, mechanosense. I mean, we've grown up in 300 years of mechanosense, if not more, and suddenly now none of what mechanosense considers important, vital, and excellent is a good model and a safe model for what all of us have to do in the future. So biosense is the model. Bone is a lot stronger than steel because it fixes its own brakes, and it senses where it's under stress and goes stronger where it feels under stress, both of which steel can't do. So bone as an icon and image of what strong is leads to an extremely different set of outcomes and habits and reactions and in imaginations and projects than steel as an image of what strong is. And you'll see so many dysfunction caused by people with mechanosense ideals, and now only biosense ideals work well in our world. And then chance science, the science of chance. The human brain is thoroughly designed to get chance wrong, to not estimate correctly, and to be driven crazy into various forms of error, 180 forms of error by chance. And understanding chance gives you a great deal of power because you can see patterns in noisy environments. And our environments are only going to get noisier emotionally, socially, web-wise, information-wise, and opportunity and danger-wise. And therefore, the ability to see patterns early and clearly and correctly in that noisy environment, an increasingly noisy environment, is really a new fundament of what excellence is. Excellence that doesn't have chance science as its basis is not going to be excellent.